committee hearing, and this will be the first and only committee hearing that will be conducted under the 20th Congress, since you have already conducted hearings under the 19th Congress. And as a matter of tradition, we can only, just wrap up the committee hearings and get on with the preparation of the committee report. Having said that, Mr. President, or Mr. Chairman, I only have two questions, and I'd like to address my questions to the law enforcement units agencies present here, including the AMLC and the NSC, National Security Council. As earlier mentioned by the Honorable Ontiveros, maraming arrests na nangyari since, I believe, May last year up to April this year. At least 19 individuals were arrested on suspicion of committing espionage activities in the country. More than the status of their cases, I am particularly interested in the follow-up or pursuit operations conducted by the different law enforcement agencies, especially the AMLA, or the AMLAC. Kasi it's not enough that we filed cases, it's not enough that they are incarcerated and facing charges under Commonwealth Act 616, kasi wala pa naman talaga tayong bagong batas. But I'm interested, as I said, particularly, anong nangyaring follow-up operations dito? Meron ba kayong pinalo up na mga leads that could result in pursuit operations para ma-prevent ang ganito activities? Anybody can answer? Yung mga resource persons from the different law enforcement units. Starting with the NBI, I believe. Kasi may mga na-arresto rin kayo with the military, with the armed forces of the Philippines, di ba? So please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Your Honors.
Before that, Comsec, you have something to say?
Mr. Chair, may we just acknowledge the presence as well of Assistant Secretary Evangeline Ong Jimenez Ducroc from the Department of Foreign Affairs, Your Honor.
Right.
Thank you.
Please proceed, Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the NBI, we had 6 or 7 operations, including, I believe, the last one was immediately prior to the holding of the national elections last May, where we intercepted in the act yung a Chinese national operating an IMSI in response to the query of the good Senator Lacson. We have already communicated with AMLAC. We have filed our secondary offense, the violations ng Anti-Money Laundering Council. We are also submitting to the COMSEC our position on the matter, Your Honors. And as follow-up submissions, we will include, upon completion, the results of our digital forensic examination on the seized or equipments taken into custody in the course of the 7 operations by the NBI.
How many foreign nationals have so far been arrested, and anong status nila ngayon?
Of the 19 persons arrested, 16 are Chinese nationals, 1 Cambodian, and 13 ang Chinese, 5 Filipino, and 1 Cambodian. But to the interest of the committee, itong Filipino ay either guide ito, driver, or parang aid lang ito na ginamit na kasangkapan. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
No, anong status nila? Where are they now? And as I mentioned earlier, I'm particularly interested in your hot pursuit operations, if any. No, I assume that you have conducted tactical interrogation along with your investigation. So meron ba kayo napulot na mga bagong information that could lead you to conduct more operations? Yun ang mas interest ko kasi hindi dapat matapos arrest. This is an unusual crime committed against our national security. unlike other criminal cases or ordinary criminal cases, we stop at filing charges and pursuing their conviction in court. It entails more intelligence or other follow-up operations. Doon ako mas interesado, Director.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Chair, ang status nila ay nakakulong pa sila. At yung aming follow-up operation is more on the nature of digital or electronic surveillance, continuous surveillance. As a matter of fact, 2 of the 6 operations were born out from the information or electronic information taken dun sa naunang operation. Kung dun sa tactical interrogation, sometimes limited kami, Your Honors, Mr. Chair, dahil nagdadating kaagad yung kanilang counsel at pinapasa kaagad ito namin sa Department of Justice.
By the way, Director, when I mentioned tactical interrogation, I was not referring to torture. There are so many tactical interrogation techniques that you can resort to and elicit information from arrested persons without resorting to physical torture or any mental torture on the arrested suspects. Kaya gusto ko malaman, kasi I assume, I can more or less assume na continuous pa rin itong mga operations. So, the whole network of espionage operations must be dismantled or at least decimated, di ba? To a large degree. Nang sa ganon, kasi agents come and go. Inaresto mo, meron papalit dyan. And I heard, no, I have it on good information, na maraming sleeper agents. No? Even regular members of PLA na nandito. Imagine, widespread eh. Meron tayo sa Palawan, meron tayo sa Makati, meron tayong Dumaguete, umabot na sila sa malapit sa Aguinaldo, and then Comelec, Malacanang. So medyo there's more than meets the eye here, di ba? So kailangan talaga yung pursuit operations natin walang let up. Kasi if we rest on our laurels, so to speak, then naging complacent tayo because parang tapos na, naka-aresto tayo ng 19 individuals, parang relax na tayo. But that is not supposed to be the case. The more we should pursue and be more vigilant in conducting intelligence operations and law enforcement operations.
Thank you, Your Honor.
As of now, what you're telling us, walang nangyaring bagong intelligence and law enforcement operations on top of the last operation, which was, I think, May 29, 2025, di ba? So from May or June hanggang ngayon, walang bago.
Yung ibang tactical, I thank the good Senator, Mr. Chair, that we have a common understanding on tactical interrogation. Thank you for that. At doon po sa aming follow-up operation, we share this with the intelligence units or the of the armed forces of the Philippines, Your Honor. And I believe that they are more in the position to share the information collected or gathered from the tactical interrogation or follow-up operation. On the matter of the last operation by the NBI, we communicated with the Bureau of Immigration and tried to check yung in and out nitong tao na nakuha namin sa premises ng Comelec. Your Honors, Mr. Chair.
AMLAC, ano ba yung, without divulging confidential information, meron ba tayo, kasi meron tayo sa, di ba, yung financial terrorism, and this could be applied also in this particular case, di ba? So, di ba, web, yung tulad ng ginawa nyo kay Alice Go, di ba? Yung lahat ng nadapuan, pinapris ninyo. Even persons acting in good faith, no, na alam mo, nabilan ni Alice Go ng kotse. Di ba pati yun, na-freeze nyo yung assets o yung kanilang bank accounts? So I'm wondering if you have done the same thing in these cases. I think there are at least 5 cases, ano, Director and PNP, CIDG. Binibilang ko yung kaso, hanggang 5 kaso tong different cases in different parts of the country. So I wonder if AMLAC has done its homework in pursuing yung mandate ninyo along this line.
Your Honor, Mr. Chair, I profusely apologize if I could not provide an update about the referrals mentioned by Director Labin. But Your Honor, if I would be given a time, I can.
Assurance lang, assurance.
Yeah, yes, Your Honor. I'll check about these referrals, Your Honor, and provide a written update to this honorable committee, including the NBI. But I'd like to add, Your Honor, Mr. Chair, that if the referral refers to, or if the referrals refer to espionage as a predicate offense, we have a limitation in the sense that it's not a predicate offense to money laundering. And you mentioned, Your Honor, about terrorism or terrorism financing. Perhaps that could be a basis, but again, as I mentioned, I have to check.
So would you suggest that we incorporate a provision under the measures under consideration na similar to the terrorist financing provision sa Anti-Terrorism Act para makover?
But insofar, Your Honor, as the current version of the bill, this is the first time that we will be attending a proceedings or a hearing in relation to that, because during the 19th Congress, the version submitted, or I mean, subject of the deliberation, does not mention of or does not include the involvement of the Anti-Money Laundering Council. It's only in the current version that the AMLAC or espionage and the other acts prohibited under the bill are considered or proposed to be considered a predicate offense to money laundering. And in relation to that, Your Honor, again, I'd like to beg the kind indulgence of the Honorable Committee, because we have yet to get the official position of the Council itself, particularly in relation to Section 23, Your Honor. So may we ask for a little time, Your Honor, to get the Council position, official position of that matter.
When can you submit your position paper?
Next week, Your Honor. We're not able to get it in time for today's hearing, due, Your Honor, to the holidays, including the work suspension yesterday.
All right.
Yeah, tulungan nyo kami for a more expeditious passage of this bill of the or the bills under consideration, kasi time is of the essence. Ano, continue yung kanilang espionage operations, and right now ang ina-apply natin is Commonwealth Act 616, no, a 40 plus year old act na, and that brings me to my second and last question. Ano, are there prevailing or even emerging threats to national security that cannot be covered under the present law, obsolete as it is, ano, that may be covered by this new measure that we are considering now? Ano? Kindly give us some examples of these prevailing or even emerging threats to national security, para maintindihan rin natin lahat na kailangan talaga maipasa itong ating batas against espionage. Kasi in the advent of modern communication and information technology, hindi na tayo makaka-catch up, di ba? So kindly give us CIDG or PNP or AFP or even NBI, ano ba yung mga examples na mga threats na pwede nating makonfront, na hindi natin makonfront under the present law, that may be addressed by the measure that we are that is under consideration right now. For a better understanding lang, no, for our sake and for the sake of the other resource persons, ano yung nakikita niyong threats na hindi may apply yung present law na pwede ma-address nitong ito maipapasa naming batas?
Can answer the question of yes, please.
Sige.
All right. Please identify yourself.
Ivan Abesa, Your Honor. Usually, Your Honor, yung challenge po namin is yung initial violation niya is not on the mere possession ng gamit. So kasi yung possession niya is wala pang violation. So ang ginagawa po is hinahanapan namin ng ibang violation other than the possession of the equipment used for surveillance and espionage. And we have to wait for them to...
Excuse me. I hope you're not referring to planting evidence, ah.
No, no, sir. No,
Oh,
sir.
sige,
No,
okay.
hindi po. So I think, sir,
Pulis kasi ako dati, kaya...
Yes, sir. Yes. So I think, sir, yung insertion, sir, yes, sir, yung inclusion, sir, ng provision on possession, which now be regulated, would be a investigative trigger for the PNP.
It is
That-
under my version of the bill.
Yes,
Yung
sir.
mere possession is already punishable.
Yes, sir.
So that will be addressed, no?
Yes, sir.
What other examples?
We have to check others, sir. Pero usually, sir, yun po yung challenge namin eh.
We understand the legal limitations, faced by the different investigating units or law enforcement agencies. Sorry. Kaya nga gusto naming ma-educate kung ano yung experience nyo sa ground na nalilimit yung inyong capabilities para ma-incorporate namin pag naggawa ng committee report yung si Chairman na Estrada, ma-incorporate na namin, ma-address na yung mga concerns ninyo. That's the reason why I asked that question.
So far, Your Honor, yun po yung challenge talaga namin sa PNP. And
NBI?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honors, Mr. Chair. I'm just curious with on your bill, Your Honor, the definition of foreign proxy. It says here, it refers to any person with a formalized relationship with a foreign state. In our experience in other serious crimes, halimbawa human trafficking, intermarriages would play a vital role, a significant role. This is even true with terrorism. Yung ating foreign terrorist groups would come here and do intermarriage with a Filipina, with his spouse. Ang ginagawa sa human trafficking halimbawa ay remote controlled na ang nag-ooperate dito yung Filipina spouse. So if this should fall under, of course, this has to be harmonized with the limitations set forth under privileged communication. Mas maganda sana kung malaki din ang parusa nung asawa na nagpagamit sa foreign threat actor, so to speak, no? Kasi baka i-remote control ito at maiwan dito yung asawa o kaya yung anak nila at sila na ang magsagawa nitong ng pangangalap ng intelligence information or other information affecting our national security, Your Honors.
On the assumption na acting in bad faith, of course, di ba? But that's a matter of defense, of course. Kung halimbawang in good faith naman, nagpakasal without knowledge of being used as a tool for convenience to operate, to undergo espionage operations, yun ang nirefer mo.
Yes, Your Honor, but yung nagpakasal in good faith, at the instance of the marriage, yung unang pagkasal pa lang, wala yun. Pero kung as you were saying, sleeper cell ito, then that can come after 5, 10, 15 years. At pag medyo maganda na, stable na yung kanilang relationship, the wife or the offspring, pakagamitin ito ng foreign threat actor na magsagawa ng pangalap ng information that would compromise our national security.
Yung principle of extraterritoriality, would it be helpful if we incorporate that in the measure?
That would be helpful, Your Honor. But again, ang kawawa dito yung pinakasalan, yung spouse, no?
Principle of extraterritoriality, even if the crime is committed outside the jurisdiction of the country, pwede pa rin nating habulin, di ba? Under that principle.
Of course, Your Honor, because this is in relation always to the Cybercrime Prevention
International
Act,
law, international
which is
law.
a borderless
Yeah.
transnational crime, Your Honor.
So,
Thank you, Your Honor.
basta nasa jurisdiction pa rin siya, say, in the premises of the Philippine Consulate or Philippine Embassy or even in a Filipino vessel, doon na-commit, then we can still acquire jurisdiction over these persons, even if they are foreign nationals.
Yes, Your Honor. For as long as we can file a case here, it's
Yeah, of
impacting
course.
on.
Of course.
Yes, we can acquire jurisdiction.
Yeah, and we can always apply extradition, di ba? The extradition treaty, assuming that we have existing extradition treaty or treaties with the countries where the foreigners live or are residents of.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. That's all for me, Mr. Chairman. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Senator Lacson. Before that, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Rafi Tulfo. Senator Joel Villanueva is requesting that his opening statement be inserted into the records. And I have received information that the AFP and the PNP have any do you have any presentation to present?
Good morning, Your Honor. May request that the presentation be presented on executive session, sir.
All right.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah,